I was. What up? What up? What up? What up? Everybody on YouTube, sup? Hello. All right, hold on.
Hello.
I mean, let's get this show started. You feel me? You feel me? You feel me?
I'm always starting.
You feel me? All right. Anyway, I don't know why, but let's do this.
Let's do it.
All right.
You're talking to me?
You're talking. All right. Anyway, yeah, we're still on YouTube. We're on Spotify. What are we doing? We should have started the show. Anyway, this is that One Piece talk where we talk One Piece. My name is Larry.
Lawrence.
Sam.
And this is where we talk One Piece. So basically, it's episode 25. It's about chapter 1033. Doing big things, man. We just hit a quarter of a century.
2-5.
2-5.
Lawrence was like, what?
Yeah, I was like,
Huh?
For those of you that don't know what a century is,
He was like,
it's 100 years. I know that.
Or what a
But I
quarter
was thinking in
is.
my head.
Lawrence is like, who?
Nani?
I was thinking.
¿Qué? ¿Qué tú quieres?
Nanda.
Oh, man. Yo, I missed Lawrence, bro. Not gonna lie, bro.
Did you really?
I feel like I haven't seen him for a while.
Yeah.
I seen him last week.
Last Monday, to be
Yeah.
exact.
I saw Lawrence like yesterday.
Yeah.
It's too long, bro.
Yeah,
I need to embrace you sometimes.
Yeah, I was in Virginia for like, what, 2-3 days?
And
like-
every minute without you was hard. All right. Anyway, listen. If you're tuning in, please like, subscribe, follow, distribute illegally if you want, and find us on X videos.
Oh, nah.
Are you uploading these to X videos, bro?
Oh man.
Are you revenge porning yourself?
I'm about to, bro.
Don't.
It's good motion.
What?
I don't.
Why you separate the pro and the motion like that?
You're legit losing.
All right. Anyway. Lawrence is like, I'm gonna walk out. All right. Let's get the episode started. So for chapter 1033, we left off with Zoro and Enma having issues. Right? They were like, yo, what's up, yo? Like they were like fighting and stuff.
You're not giving me enough attention. Man.
You're not giving me enough attention.
You know what I need. You're not giving me
You're neglecting me.
what I need.
So the chapter starts off with Zoro yelling at Emma while he's fighting King. We see Zoro stab King, and King says, jackpot. Like if he's like Dante from Devil May Cry. Then a huge explosion happens. Zoro says he blew himself up. What did King do to blow himself up?
I have no idea, man. You know?
They're actually, the Lunarians are actually dynamite people. The fire,
The fire
is a fuse,
It's a fuse.
that blows themselves. Nah, I have no idea. Like,
That-
I don't know either.
King is into like BDSM, bro. He's got the vibes,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like he wanted the pain, so he jumped in front of Zoro and just stopped there and was like,
That was so weird.
Come at me, bro.
"Do it!" And it was just like jackpot. Like, so I was like, "What? What are you talking about, bro? What's wrong with you?"
He's like, yo, I'm dealing with Emma and I'm dealing with this pervert.
Say, cut me.
Yo, low key though, I feel like if that was animated, that would have been pretty dope. Because it's like he's speed blitzing Zoro, and then he just stops and like kind of slides. You remember when Kakuzu stopped right in front of Choji before he like roundhouse kicked him in the chest?
Dude, there's no.
I feel like that's what King did, but he was like, hit me, bro. And then he got hit and then just exploded.
Dude, that's one of like the best scenes in Naruto history. That slide and spin kick, like he
Yeah.
roundhoused him like that. I know it's simple, it's like small, but like I love that. That was so amazing.
So what do you think Kid actually did? Do you think he just like combusted? Or like these are the wrong terms to use, huh?
Yeah.
Maybe he can self-destruct at will. Like maybe it's a technique he has or something.
Like he could just emit an explosion from his body.
Yeah.
But it looks like it needed to
Be
something
activated, yeah.
but through a contact. Like I wonder if it's like a defense, like mechanism. Like
Yeah.
it's no way it's this, but it made me think of remember Black Panther movie?
This doesn't work.
when it's absorbing the kinetic energy.
Oh, like it's able to absorb the attack power and then just redistribute it
Yeah, in an explosion.
in an
type
explosion.
fashion, yeah.
I mean, that would be cool. You think that's because of the suit or because of his actual Lunarian genes?
No, it can't be because of the suit. It's because of who he is.
Yeah, I think it's the Lunarian genes because apparently, I don't know if you can.
In dumb jeans.
Anything. No, I'm kidding. Because apparently they're viewed as Lunarians are viewed as like mighty ones, like gods, you know? So pretty much.
That's gonna be the next question.
Oh, that was okay. My bad.
Yeah. I don't. To me, I feel like he's able to combust and not be hurt by it, so he could just emit like a. I don't know how to explain it, but like, it's like Magneto, right? Like it's like something that kids should be able to do. Like he should be able to emit magnetism from himself to create like a magnetism force field where you can't penetrate it. And I feel like King could do that, but with like fire. So like he's a manipulator of fire, right? So he should be able to like explode, but it's like, how does he not receive damage as well?
I feel like a part of us needs to, because we don't understand Japanese. Like what suffix is being made when Zoro makes contact? Because for all we know, he really could just have bombs. Like he could just be a straight up bomb attached.
Well, you have it here, right?
He won't. Yeah, it says
FWIP, and then that is
nah. So it goes
Kashi.
shunk.
I think
That's him stopping. This is him making contact. It's like shunk and then boom, you get the explosion. So it's like because King knows that he's Lunarian. He knows that he's gonna be impervious to any regular damage. So he could. Didn't he not do that too? Like because he knew he wouldn't die from anything, or Kyakuzu. They like threw bombs at one of them, and it was like doesn't matter because I'm gonna be fine. But like you're not, even though because you're right next to me.
Yeah, they did that.
Like he could just be doing that. Like I know that you aren't gonna be fine from this explosion, but I'm going to be fine. So he could lace his body with like explosives. I don't know if it's a technique he's doing or if it's literally just something that he's doing on that basic of a level because he knows that he won't be affected.
It would probably explain why his suit is all over his body to protect him from that damage.
But again, he's gonna be fine from damage regardless. It's really just even if you land on me, it hurts you.
Yeah.
You know, kind of thing. But
I wonder if it has anything. No, never mind. I was gonna try to see if it had anything to do. I was looking back at the last chapter. Have anything to do with the fire on his head? Like if the fire got bigger.
I've been trying to do that too, and there's no.
Yeah.
It's so Oda's so inconsistent with how he draws it. It's no way to know. There's no. Really
I thought you
know.
meant you were trying to put fire on the back of your neck. I was like, wait, what?
I'm part Lunarian apparently.
Forrest Whitaker's neck. All right. So next question. We skipped to Sanji and Queen, and Queen tells Sanji that Zoro can't beat King. After Sanji asks why, Queen explains that King can survive in any natural environment, but King's a remnant of the extinct Lunarians, and the Lunarians used to be known as gods. Sanji asked, what happened to them? And Queen says, go look at a history book. Why do you think the Lunarians are extinct? And why were they known as gods?
If I had to guess, I would assume because the way Marco talked about them being on top of the red line, I'm going to assume that they're extinct because the celestial dragons were like, yo, we don't want anybody like living here because we want to live here. And as far as how, I want to say ancient weapons, but I think it would kind of be cooler if like it would be a doper thing if like the Gorosei were just capable of doing that kind of destruction. I assume it needed more than just like a group of people fighting them and taking their whole like race out, except for I guess King. But like at that point, you get into like mass genocides, and the way they do mass genocides in One Piece is like ancient weapons are probably involved, like some sort of like either Pluton or like I don't know whatever Uranus allows you to do, like something like that might have been involved to allow them to wipe them out like that. Because if they can survive all the elements in the way that Queen is saying, any natural environment, explosions, Zoro level attacks, like I assume King's one of the strongest Lunarians of all time or whatever, but like if they can survive stuff like this, you need more to take them out in the way that they seemingly are taken out. So ancient weapons, bro. Honestly.
Yeah.
Honestly.
What about you, Lawrence? What do you think, man?
I'm trying to think about it because it's interesting. I want to know because that makes me question now how old really is King?
Y'all thought the same thing.
Yeah.
Because like,
It's like what?
the thing like history book. So Queen is going back way back then. You know, the only survivor.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
You know, so like only survivor history book. Because that means if King survived, they were his parents. If his parents long dead, that means he's been alive for a long time. To me, what we're saying is this whole distinction, them all dying off, didn't happen recently, because he said history books.
Do you think that was actually going to be the next question? I was going to ask, when do you think they became extinct?
So that's what I was trying to think too. I don't want to keep adding things to like they keep talking about the war back then, because granted we all kind of suspect the Great War involved the D's, but it could not have. It could have been the Lunarians, or it could have been both. Maybe they were cleaning up house. They had that much where they were like, or the Lunarians and D's the band together, or we don't know exactly what's going on, but it's looking like it now. Maybe more so the Lunarians because they're actually extinct. Only one. Where the D's, they've been around. They weren't actually killed off. They just
scattered.
They had one in the Marines. So maybe it wasn't the war against the D's. It was against the Lunarians because Celestial Dragons view themselves as gods because we're whatever. But they were actually the Lunarians are actually strong enough physically to hold that title to what people thought. So maybe the ancient war involved the Lunarians and not the D's.
Like they weren't the target.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like the Lunarians would be the target. It could be.
That could be too. I'm not too sure either. That's a great point. Like, when were they extinct?
Yeah.
I think that's the best question. And if he is older than we suspect, then he's definitely probably the best first commander, in my opinion. Like, he would, when we made the list, we made Ben Beckham at a 90, and we put King at an 88.
Yeah.
So if he truly is the testament of his time, and he is this strong, even though he's not stronger than Kaido, that's nothing to say that he's not strong. Like Kaido's a freak, as we've seen. So King being genetically a freak, but not as big as a freak, I think that it's only right that he's a 90 minimum, and that's before us finding out if he has an awakening, and us finding out if he has advanced conqueror's hockey and future sight, which is kind of crazy because we just seen Sanji bump up like 2 points on our list because of the fact that he's just now more durable and like he's faster. So if like King already has this, then he needs to be bumped up no matter what. Yeah. So it's interesting. I really want to see more. Like, this is the first time I'm actually interested in King. Yeah. Like, I don't feel like his race factor is just like a gimmick to make us more interested in him, because that's what it seemed like the first couple chapters. It was like these little hints, but I was like, yo, I don't care. But this is where you're getting the full gist of it. It's like, oh, now I do care, because now it's a harder battle for Zoro. Like, before it wasn't a harder battle. It was just like, yo, I'm just this strong. Yeah. But now it's like, yo, I'm this strong, but I have these moves because of my race. It just seemed like he was just flying and doing tricks, and it was just like, like Zoro gave no reason as to why King was harder to beat. Like, when he said, oh, I need to find out what he is in order to beat him. King didn't show anything. Yeah. He didn't show anything to say, this is why I'm a Lunarian. It was more like, oh, I just need to find out what he is. I was like, I don't get that. But now that he's doing explosions and like being able to take Shishi Son Son, like, that's Zoro's one of the strongest Zoro's attacks. Yeah. Besides Ashura. And he just tanked it easily. Yeah. So in my opinion too, when he got sliced by Shishi Son Son, he healed with fire. It looked like that because he got sliced straight up the middle, and then he was just perfect after. But I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah, like it gets cut, and then like his eyes seemingly are like rolled back, and then he just goes into his next attack. But the flames,
flames come out.
They cover his right like spike
where he got
in
hit.
A way that they didn't do before. Yeah, they didn't normally do that in the past. I mean, again, it's hard to gauge because it's King. But it's funny. You say that, right? What you said about Zoro, like it changes your intrigue in King in the fight. Like, Zoro went from fighting one of the strongest like commanders to possibly one of the strongest people in the history of the series because of what Queen said here. Like, that they're capable of surviving any environment. Like, it's kind of crazy. Like, if King is really that old, the way Lawrence suggested, it's like, yo, he's fighting some 1,000-year-old dude that's incapable of dying, basically, through normal means. Like, that's so different than, like, yo, he's just fighting like the first commander. You know what I mean?
It makes King more interesting because it's like, why would you serve under Kaido?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's bringing up questions like that, right? It's like, why are you here? Like, because we've always said that he didn't really say much, right? Like, he's never really let his personality show. So it's like, sometimes that comes through with, like, age. Like, you don't want to talk too much because you already know so much and you have so much wisdom and you're like, yo, these are how things are going to play out. Yeah. Like, I believe in Kaido because I've seen people like him. So I think that's the most interesting thing about the chapter, to be honest, besides, like, everything else that comes after. It's like, King. Yeah. Like, he's legitimately a legit interesting character now.
Yeah. I was going to bring up, like, what you were saying. And to me, this kind of feeds into, like, his reaction to everything. If you've been through so much and experienced so much, like I said, every type of environment that could hurt you from something, now you see him getting hit with tax stuff going on. You've been so much. Why would this phase you? You know? Like, you kind of, the experience through all these, whatever you went through, is like, I've seen this already. I've been through worse.
Yo, this is so crazy because you know what adds to that too? You remember when Zoro was like, why aren't you using your sword? And King was like, yo, I fight to my advantage. Like, if I don't have to use my sword, I'll fight the way I need to fight in order to beat you. Yeah, that's an experienced fighter.
Like, he's fought in every type of fight.
Put it this way, like Zoro himself limits his being by just being a swordsman. Where King is like, no, I'll be a swordsman, and I'll be this as well because I've had the time to train in these certain fighting styles. Yo, maybe he's really super old.
Yeah, he could be. I want to say a quick break from the King wank we're doing to hype Queen, because he totally tagged Tails memories like it was not.
I said that. Didn't I tell you that?
Like, yo, he got up and laughed, bro.
Yo,
what are we talking about?
All right, so I'm glad you guys pointed this out because I brought that up last time. I was like, yo, you know, Queen has been taking nonstop damage, and so has King. And I've said it before. If Sanji's not able to hurt him, he's probably going to lose, even with his durability factors. So to you guys, do you think Sanji's going to have a armament boost, or will he have a Conqueror's Haki boost in order to help him win against Queen? Which one do you think he'll have more of? Like, which side would you lean towards, or would you just be straight in the middle and say he'll have both?
Well, you said armament or what?
Conqueror's Haki.
Conqueror's Haki. Honestly, I'm not opposed to Sanji having Conqueror, so that would be dope. But at the very least, what it's kind of showing in the new work, I think Ray Leaf even said it when he was training Luffy. This is like, it's Haki, armor Haki at the very least, it's a necessity in the new world. Like, you kind of need it to fight. Because it's showing, like, physical, as strong as you are physically and the power you have, if that's all you have, it's limited. You could only get you so far. Like, I know we talk about Garp, but Garp has one of probably the strongest armaments in the game. Yeah, you know? On top of his physical strength, his armament is top, like, you know, top tier, top level. So it's like, you kind of need that. So Sanji, even though he has all this enhanced stuff that he's developing now through with the cyborg and the German and all this stuff, he needs something like his armament and developing as well.
It needs to blossom.
Exactly. Yeah. Because they're showing, like, especially with, because I see you talking about Lino about it. And what I told you earlier, it's interesting that you have, like, Kaido's crew, how you have Kaido, who is, like, species-wise is an Oni, right? There's already super person or creature, right? Not a normal human, a super creature, because he's different. He's abnormal, like, stronger than regular humans who ate a Zohan ability. You have King.
Mythical Zohan.
Mythical Zohan ability. So, like, now his durability and taking is, like, even stronger, so you can't even hurt him. King, similar. He's a different species than human, whereas, like, they're viewed as gods, extra strong, who ate a mythical or ancient Zohan type ability. So adding on top of that, now you have Queen, an enhanced giant person already, an enhanced cyborg already, enhanced all that stuff, like a super soldier, which plus a giant, who also ate ancient Zohan or mythical labor ability, increasing their strength. Jack, Fishman, already at birth, 10
Oh, yeah,
times
I didn't
stronger.
even notice all that.
10 times stronger than a regular human.
Yeah.
And then already with the streets, his physique and everything, times that. Also an ancient.
yeah.
So like their strength level, like pretty sure that they cannot be dealt with ordinary needs. You need special skills to even fight them. Not even beat them, just to fight them, and then even more of that to beat them.
To answer the question in regards to Sanji's bloom, I don't know if he's getting Conqueror's Haki. I would like him to. I feel like with the additions of people like Katakuri, that the ambition aspect of Conqueror's Haki isn't the same as what I thought it was originally. And we'll get more into that at the end of the chapter. But he definitely needs an AP boost. Like, he needs to be able to hit harder than he's hitting now. And I know we haven't seen Sanji go all out, as it were, as some people like to say, because Hell's Memories, to our knowledge, was his strongest attack. And he just used it. He doesn't seem distraught like Queen is, like, because Queen's laughing and stuff. But he doesn't seem like, oh, I just whipped out my strongest attack and he's good. So, like, I assume Sanji has more in his bag already, but to me, he does need an attack power boost, like an attack potency boost. Beyond that, I would personally like if he got some sort of like, because like they said I would have said in the SBS that like Zoro's affinity, and we talked about this before in the chat, his affinity is armament, and Luffy's is conquerors. Sanji is supposed to be observation. So any real bloom that he gets, to me, should be in that specialty. So, like, if it makes him just that much more difficult to deal with, plus an attack power boost, like, I would want his bloom to be observation. How that helps him in this fight with Queen, gotta see the fight. But I would like his, like, specific bloom to be something like that. Because right now, he needs more to keep up, because he's supposed to keep up with Luffy and Zoro. Clearly, like, this, what he has now isn't enough. So he needs more. He needs, like, 2 or 3 more boosts. Like, Zoro just jumped by the end of the chapter to, like, I have leaking Conqueror's Haki. Like, he needs to be able to compete with people that do stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, is him just having this Lunarian race gene thing that makes him durable like that enough? Not to me. So, as far as how it comes, to me, Sanji does a lot of stuff with flame. So maybe black flames. Maybe the color of his flame changes to white or blue, or some sort of hotter flame that he can generate to kick with. Because, like, you made a joke about him just grilling Queen. Like, he's been putting grill marks on Queen's body all day. If he could do actual damage to, like, bypass just the regular base of his skin, like, and start burning him inside stuff. Like, I don't know. I don't know much about flames, but if he could increase the temperature of his flame with maybe the rage that he has. So
I don't know if you guys also noticing. Sorry to go back to the King thing. It's been throwing me off because he's supposed to be a Zohan, like a dinosaur, right?
Yeah.
His wings keep changing from a dinosaur type wings to like eagle or bird wings. Have you ever been noticing that?
Well, he's a Petrodon or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So
do they do that?
They
Feathers, like because it's
we
like
don't know
one
that they're
thing
feathers, whatever he has normally.
Well, basically, when he turns into his hybrid form or his full Zoan form, his wings contract.
They like contract into
Yeah, they
himself.
contract. I said
Contract.
contract. Like
Okay.
they contract into his body, so he could fill out and be this dinosaur. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let's move on.
Hold
There's
on.
so much more here.
Yeah, there's a lot, but I don't need. It's only 7:25. For me, I feel like when I look at Sanji, I feel like he can't beat Queen right now. I feel like it's kind of like at a stalemate, or more so, Queen still has the advantage. He could probably still hurt him with the lasers, and then Queen could probably pull out some like armament stuff. Also, which side would I lean on? I think I would like to see Sanji in the next chapter of 1034 end the chapter with him also putting all his haki into his foot. I would like it to be very similar to what Zoro is doing right now with Enma. That way we can see the people around. I know it would probably take away from Zoro's moment of having Conqueror's Haki, but at this point in time, like, Zoro still doesn't know what Conqueror's Haki is. King had to tell him, oh, you have it too? And he's like, well, I'm just pouring all my haki into Enma. Like, I'm not trying to forcefully do Conqueror's Haki. It's just I'm pouring all my haki into the sword, and it's just happening. I would like for Sanji to be aware that if he pours all his haki into his foot, people are passing out around him, and he's like, oh, I have it too. And then he goes and puts in that work to hit Queen and do actual damage against him, where Queen is now on the ropes, where he's like not shooting lasers anymore. He goes into like a defensive cyborg mode that we haven't seen yet when he gets too close to like being damaged. I think that would be awesome, and I think it would bring the people who hate Sanji like me. I think we would all come around and be like, that's those moments that we see from Sanji is the reason why we love Zoro, but we also love Sanji when he does it. And then he'll do something corny like next chapter after that makes us hate us again because that's his character. But I would like to see that personally. I would like to see him get both and then just be aware that it is, because it's different from Zoro. Zoro doesn't know, but Sanji knows. So it's kind of cool. It won't be as strong as Zoro's, of course, but it would be enough just to put Queen down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so then we move past it, and then we get to Zoro like having all these flashbacks about Kitetsu and the other sword. What's the other sword's
Wado
name?
Ichimonji.
Yes, Wado Ichimonji. And then we get into how he's still arguing with like Enma and like trying to find out like why Enma's so special. And then we get like a flashback and we see that Kuina's grandpa is actually the guy who made Wado Ichimonji and Enma. And that happens to be Shimosuke Kozaburo? Kozaburo. Are you guys still in belief that Zoro is a Shimotsuki?
Shimotsuki, bro.
Shimotsuki. Do you guys still think he's a relative of them? Since Kuina is now the person that's a relative?
Okay, so we already knew that, technically. Oda admitted, like, he revealed that in an SPS or a Vivi card or something, I think earlier this year or last year. So we knew that Kozaburo was Kuina's grandfather. Whether this is confirmation that Zoro isn't a Shimosuke, I can't say that yet. I'm still going to lean on him being one just because there's too many parallels between the other Shimotsuki people. I kind of like it in the sense that, like, I would like it either way. So I would like it that he's like a lost son of Wano that made it to East Blue and is like has that lineage in him. I would also like it that he isn't, and he's just able through inherited will and the fact that he's from this village, able to be that. Because even in the chapter, right, where they had the swords, it's like I don't know if you guys remember back when Zoro used to fight Kuina, right? And they fought for the last time, and he was fighting her with his swords. Apparently, the swords he was using was from Shimotsuki Kozaburo. Yeah. Like, they were just his worst swords.
We didn't know that at the time.
Meanwhile, Kuina is using one of his best swords in Wado Ichimonji, and it's like, it's a duel between the runt of the Shimotsuki village who wants to be great, and the daughter, like the heir to the one who's supposed to be great, but is sick or whatever, in Kuina, and it's like, Zoro loses. It's like, yo, I think it's like, it ties it all back into Zoro. I think that's really cool. And like, I don't know, like the way when I read the flashback, I was like, do I need another Zoro flashback after this? Was my real question, because that's what you would need for him to get proof that he is such a person. And I think Oda's probably just gonna keep it vague. Like the only person who could really reveal it now is Onimaru, like Gyoki, the fox at this point, because everybody's done seen him now. We got a flashback. Kozaburo didn't say nothing to Zoro, like about him being his great nephew or nothing.
I was gonna bring that up too.
Like, again, I never thought I needed it, and then now that I really wanted it, this flashback here is showing me like, nah, you still don't really need it, bro. Like, you still good. Zoro doesn't need to be that. It's just there's so many parallels, bro. Ryuma, Ushimaru. I think there's one other person that they even said before too, or there was one other daimyo they saw that looked like Zoro a little bit, and now Enma's like calling out to him. So it's like, is Enma just doing that because it recognized that Zoro was great from the jump, or is it a lineage thing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but Enma was Odin's, and he was not a Shimosuke, so
What do you think, Law?
I don't know. It's hard to say.
So, and the same with Sebastian saying, but just interesting. I'm not gonna rule it out because again, like the parallels, but also too, is to me the key factors is that usually when someone looks exactly like someone in One Piece, they're usually related.
Yeah.
You know,
What do you mean? Roger and Luffy aren't related.
they don't look exactly alike.
Yeah, they be looking alike.
They be
bro.
looking alike, bro.
They have similar.
They be looking
Bro,
alike,
they be
bro.
looking alike, bro.
They be looking alike.
I mean, a little bit, but they're kind of related because they're part of the D family.
Put it
so to
this way.
speak.
If-
The D family.
They do have the same middle initial.
Whatever that
Whatever
means, they're part of
Saul
the D.
doesn't look like Luffy.
Yeah, but it's all
Either
giant.
that-
You know what I'm
Neither
saying?
does Blackbeard,
Neither
neither
does
does
Blackbeard.
Ace.
Exactly. That's what I'm
Ace
saying.
kind of looked like Luffy a little bit. Ace looked like Roger too when they drew Roger.
They could all be cousins. I don't know, man. Like pretty much. But let's say it's like
I get you though.
But like, there's two when they compared, and there's like the two biggest people in the Shumashika.
Shimotsuki. Why can y'all not get this? It's like, I'm not saying it's super easy, but it's not hard. Shimotsuki.
Shimotsuki.
That's it.
Can I say Shimo? I'm gonna say Shimo.
Say what you want, man.
Shimosuke.
You can say first moon. That's what it means. That's what Shimotsuki means.
Shimo, first moon.
Damn, bro. You're mad knowledgeable.
They said this, bro. Screw y'all.
I don't
Screw
remember.
y'all.
But anyway, is the it's the Ryuma and the Zoro link. And I want to say look alike, but also even though it was weird, like it's showing that they had such a strong link that even just Ryuma's like corpse body, even if it was with Brook, right? Zoro kind of sent something from Ryuma. It's like, I wish I could meet you in person one day. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
That might have. That was, I don't think that was just anime.
I wasn't
don't know.
reading back then. I don't know.
Oh yeah, we weren't. Yeah, but like they kind of in the show they showed like a link between them where Zoro recognized, even though he had Brook's shadow, but recognized the something in the corpse. You know, like the Brook the one that
Shimosuke.
No. Moria brung up.
Okay,
Yeah.
I
was
didn't know
like,
what you were trying to say. Okay.
I was like, who's the? Yeah, Moria brung up, right? But Zoro said he wished he could meet him and even challenge him or fight him one day, you know? And then we have the link later on about how Zoro resembles someone else from that clan. And how their fighting styles are kind of similar.
Yeah.
You know? So, and also, and how Zoro, I mean, it could because he was brought up by them while he does stuff from Wano. Like, he would just, it's probably because, you know, his master in the beginning, his first master, probably taught him a few things, you know? And he was surrounded by people kind of that culture. So I can't really say that, you know.
Listen, man. You know, it'd be a real twist if like Zoro was part of Orochi's clan,
Yo, I'm with that.
No.
I'm with it.
and he would be like the Grinch of the Whoville. You know what I'm saying? Like he'd be the different one out of all of them.
I just got where's the Roronoa come from then? Like, is it his mom? Like, who is that?
It's probably his mom.
Because he could have just been Zoro,
His
and then
mom
we
was
just never got a
out
last
here
name.
begging for rice.
Come on, man.
Honestly, I kind of feel like Zoro never met his parents. Like,
Yeah, he doesn't
Listen.
seem like
If Kozaburo was out here living in a village and like he was just like not saying who he actually was or giving him praise or saying like Kuina's your cousin in some way, like he not of that clan, bro. But
he was actively trying to hide who he was too. Though.
this is
wait.
so what?
I'm not just gonna tell this random kid who he is, his lineage, and where we're from.
No, but he might not know.
All right. Anyway, listen.
That's also true. He
don't
could have
think
been
he
out
knows.
here.
I don't think he knows.
Slanging Bicho.
Slanging beach
What? You know what I mean?
No, because was he the one that disappeared?
Yes,
Yes, he's the one that disappeared 50 years
being a
ago.
little Cotty Freckle.
Gotti Flecko. Listen, man.
It's worth a stack.
You see his eyebrows? This dude's different. Different,
He
bro.
looks like the dude's about to play Luffy in the One Piece Netflix. Yo, so do you think we need a Zoro flashback? Like, does this live up to the expectation of what you were expecting for Zoro's flashback to be? And are you upset about it?
Well, I think then they haven't really got into it. This is more about the swords than really Zoro. So I think
Do you think we'll get it?
yeah, because Sanji had a
don't know, bro.
flashback. flashback, and he had another one about his origin, his true origin. I think it's gonna be the same thing with Zoro, and then we're gonna get Luffy's too. We saw him before, maybe not Luffy. Maybe I was wrong with that, but I think we're gonna get down with Zoro. Maybe someone that Zoro doesn't even recognize.
Yeah,
but I think we're gonna get the connection between the Ryuma and the
Shimosuke. Yeah, I don't like your glasses, bro. Why you ain't wearing the dark shades, man? This is the first episode without the dark shades, bro. We got people upset.
The shades.
To me, this flashback, I don't want to say it's enough. It's enough for this battle. Like, I don't think we need another flashback within this battle with King. Like, I love that it tells a story about Zoro getting his swords and the swords he got beforehand, and like, I like all that. Like, that was really cool. Kozaburo looked funky.
I'm just starting to realize, like, everybody from Wano just looks dumb.
Yeah.
That's
Except
really
Zoro,
what it is.
apparently.
They just look dumb.
No, pretty much.
But
So let me ask y'all this, yo. For all those people that said that Zoro was of Odin's caliber, and we now see Zoro himself stating, Odin wielded you like you were light as a feather. Enma. What do y'all think about that now?
was there that many people out here telling us that Zoro was on Odin's level? I feel like that wasn't a thing.
Yo.
Was that a thing?
They were saying he was stronger than Odin.
Yeah, no. I mean, Zoro fans be wilding. That's the MO. That's what they do. They wild out on Twitter. Like, that's what they do. That's a Zoro fandom thing to do. But
now that we have confirmation, how do you feel about it?
I don't feel different because I expected that much. Like, I knew he wasn't stronger than Odin yet. Odin was Luffy level. You know how I feel about Luffy and Zoro. So
what about you, Law?
To me, they're kind of. It's the reason why I feel like people started underestimating Odin is because it looked like, or he did get that one shot by Kaido. That set Odin. He was looking like a monster, you know, and then that boom is just like he's nowhere near Kaido's level. Well, that's not necessarily the case because they're forgetting about the scar, you know, the wound that put on Kaido.
Shout out to Lionel, man.
Right,
I gotta give Lionel his props.
So
gotta give Lionel his, man.
We're gonna go on record. So for people that haven't watched the earlier episodes, we argued about where Odin was in a top 20 list and if he was top 20. And then we had basically our brother Lionel come through and say that Odin was Yonko level, and we highly disagreed.
Lionel was still tripping at some points.
He was still talking about
listen.
He could beat Shanks.
Yeah,
He's stronger than Mihawk.
I'm not mentioning that because I'm gonna make him look bad. What I'm trying to say is he was definitely up there. He's definitely top 20. We actually did the list and we found out he's actually probably 18
or so, yeah.
18 in a show right now of all time.
I'm gonna have Lionel's back here, even though I'm the one that said that he was tripping too, and I still believe it. But like to even further, the ones who are saying that the whole thing about Odin, to further it, remember how old Odin was wielding Emma? He was like
right?
18 years old. So from then on, he was just loading that bad boy. With no complaints from Emma with hockey.
So I do want to push back on this a little bit. A little bit, all right? The circumstances by which Odin had Enma and was able to tame it, and the circumstances by which Zoro got it and is now trying to tame it are very, very different. Odin didn't face much stiff competition on Wano. So he was allowed to walk around big stick in hand like, yo, I'm the guy. 24/7.
So what?
Yo, that confidence. We already see when Zoro was in self-doubt in his fight with King, Enma starts reacting because Zoro's doubting himself.
No.
It's true.
See, this is where you always lose me, bro.
No, it's true. Odin had no self-doubt. Who could force that out of him? There was no one on Wano that could make him doubt himself.
All right, so maybe
there wasn't Kings, there wasn't Kaidos, there wasn't people like that out there at all.
Okay, but this is up for interpretation of what you think Enma is doing right now.
But it's okay, but you even said it yourself the last episode. Enma didn't react until Zoro started doubting if he could beat King. That was when he started reacting. The shamisen started playing, but
No.
it was, yo, I don't know if I can beat him.
No,
and then
I did
within the
not. I
next
did
two-
not say that.
Yes, you did.
I
and even
said-
if you didn't, it's still true.
No, it's not true.
Did the sequence of events not play out that way?
What?
Enma reacted
No, no.
after Zoro said, I don't know if I could beat him.
Okay, so this,
Enma reacts.
So what I said is that Enma itself is sentient. I didn't say because of his lack of his doubt of himself is the reason why Enma's reacting. No, Zoro himself wasn't living up to Enma's expectations. And that expectation is you're not as strong as you need to be in order to beat this guy.
That's
That
not
was
the case.
it.
That's not
It
the case.
wasn't a lack. It wasn't the
That's
doubt.
definitely not it.
Yeah, that's not it.
What I said
why
is
wouldn't it be it?
What I
No.
said is definitely it.
Because right now it's like, hold on.
He was right in the beginning.
I've been said that the swords are sentient. That when you put your willpower into it, you ultimately change the sword itself. It basically obeys you. I said this about Shisui, and I've said it about Mihawk's blade. I said this is the reason why blades become black. I've been saying
You
that.
don't know why blades come back.
I've been saying that this is why when Zoro ended up cutting Kaido, it wasn't actually Zoro. It was Enma. Enma was
So
Enma
you take
itself,
it too far, Larry.
No.
You do.
But this is the thing. It says to Zoro, like basically Enma is wielding Zoro.
No.
Yes.
Absolutely. No.
Enma's wielding-
No.
because he's not able to wield
You
Enma.
don't get it. Read the chapter again. Read the chapter again, bro. You don't get it. He doesn't get it.
Larry, the reason why I'm gonna say that's why it wasn't Enma is gonna. I mean, you can bear with me. Zoro still hasn't cut King yet. If it was just Enma, he would be able to cut King.
Right. What are you talking about? Like,
Listen, he's about to cut King.
because he is now evolving.
Yeah.
Like,
He's
Yes,
replacing.
but Enma's telling him to evolve. Enma's saying that I need you to evolve for another attack, the same way he did against Kaido. He didn't. Again, Zoro doesn't know how to infuse Conqueror into his armament and use it. He still doesn't know how to do that.
Yeah.
Enma's basically guiding him into saying, this is how you do use it, this is how we are going to cut it, but it's going to require the strength I need from you. Which is basically what you would do with the sword if you're controlling it. You're gonna attack with that sword because that's you exerting your strength. Where it's like Enma saying, no, I need you to exert your strength so I can complete this task because you're not living up to my standards.
Then how
You're
do
not
you-
living up to what Odin was able to do. I've been said this.
yo, but two things on this. How do you explain, one, the other swords are now leaking hockey in the same way? And two, as Emma, and two, when Zoro went to cut Kaido, he told Law, this is my limit. After this, I'm not going to be able to do anything. And in that moment, he used Ashura and was able to cut and scar Kaido. You know what I'm saying? That's not Enma. That's Zoro's limit. Saying, yo, this is me. Putting all of his hockey into the attack. And that allowed him to cut and scar Kaido. Now, Emma's like, bro, you're capable of that. And now you're doubting yourself versus King. Hell no, bro. Bring it back. Bring that energy back. Put the hockey out. You can do this.
You know why I say no against that? It's because of what Kaido said. Kaido said literally, what is that aura? Why do I sense Odin in that sword? That's the reason why. It's because these swords, like he said, people consider cursed swords cursed because they don't live up to those swords' expectations. That's point blank. Like they can't control the sword. The sword is a sentient being to an extent. And what Zoro is experiencing, he's experiencing what I think personally, and this is not correct or this is just my opinion, that when you put your haki into a blade and you're blossoming through intense battles, you leave like a residue of your own haki into that blade, which is why Kaido said, I sense Odin's aura. That's when after Zoro ended up cutting Kaido during his last attack because Enma willed itself with Zoro's current strength to do so. Now that Zoro is lacking in strength or lacking, is in doubt, Enma's taking over again and saying like, yo, I can't fight at the level you're fighting at because it's too weak. You need to match up to my skill set. You need to match up to what Odin has left inside me in order for us to beat King because that's what it takes. Like, essentially, it's telling Zoro, you need to man up. Now, for your point about all three blades are leaking with haki, that's because Zoro himself is now putting his haki into all 3 blades instead of just Enma. You get what I'm saying?
I mean,
You get me, or like,
bro.
So my point is, since Zoro doesn't know how to use advanced armament, advanced conqueror's haki, Enma is guiding him into doing so without him actually knowing how to do it.
That is fair.
But that's my
I
whole
will
point.
say
That's
fair.
my whole point.
But you're saying that before you were saying that like Zoro doesn't even have conquerors type stuff, and Enma is utilizing Odin's haki to do these things.
It might be.
That can't
It
be.
might be,
That
bro.
cannot be the
It
case.
might be.
That cannot be the case. If you want to say that Enma is able to drain out Zoro's conqueror's haki, that is consistent with what we've seen.
That's not even what.
And that's
Emma's
not even
doing.
entirely what
that's
it
not
is.
what Emma's doing, because he's only draining his armament, right? So pretty much what I gather, right? Because going by what the show said, or this the Swords Master said, right? Swords have their own personality or their own their own disposition, right? They want someone who they deem as worthy or capable to wield them. The stronger the sword, the presence of the sword, the stronger their need is, right? Weaker swords don't really have that. That's why he said a lot of named blades who have that strong disposition in themselves are viewed as cursed swords because they demand more, right? And this is actually, I've seen this in other mangas as well, where it's actually, I guess, a Japanese belief where swords have this own. I was telling you about that earlier, right? So pretty much what I'm understanding is, what they're saying is here, what he said, right? A sword has its own personality. A swordsman must master it and bend it to its will, right? So it's like, I wouldn't say really guiding it. It's basically you're gaining control over the sword by saying, in a way, by your power, right? You're bending the sword to your will, because to me, you ever think of like wild stallions, like horses? You know, there's a certain way, a temperament you have to come to the horse, right? But this one is different because it's with power, right? You have to like kind of beat the sword to submission, like, no, I'm the master here, right? My will can wield you. So that was like, for example, because the 2 different translations when I read it, Zolo saying that Emma called, to me the first translation didn't say it, but in this translation it's saying that Emma called out to Zoro apparently, or chose Zoro in his testing, like, can you wield me? Do you have what it takes to wield me?
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. Right? So to me, it's like, right, it's not saying that he's like guiding Zoro's like pretty much kind of like it's similar to what you're saying, because I believe the beginning part you're saying, but not the whole where he's making him use his conquerors.
Yeah.
It's more like armament, because what he's draining is not his conquerors, it's his armament. Saying that, you need to put more power into me if you want to use me.
See, I don't know if it's not, because Zoro straight up says, how should I stabilize my haki then? Right? And he's still in that doubt mode. And he goes, I have to keep exuding at this level. Like, if I keep exuding at this level, it will kill me. And then he goes, no, that's perfect. Like, I have to, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? He even was still doubting for a second. He said, nah, forget that. I'm not doubting anymore. And then when he's no longer doubting in any way, that's when Enma and Wado and Sandai all start coding in this way. Because now, and people get knocked out.
Yeah, but you recognize,
Like,
right? It was more like, but that's where I say that's Zoro recognizing, like, for example, because he said him loading his armament haki would kill him. Because they already said, like, kind of showing that, in the show, it showed that overusing your armament haki kind of has side effects, right? Like, Law, who's the doctor, said to Luffy, you're overusing, he didn't say to Luffy, he said he's overusing his haki, right? And, I mean, it was only part of the show, so I can't really quote that one, but Ray Leaf said something about, like, he didn't want to use condition again, or, like, haki, right? Yeah. But, like, for this one, it's like, Zoro recognizing this would kill him. I guess maybe overexert something. But to me, he's using now his conqueror saying no. Like, I'm not backing down. I have to wield these swords, I have to, like, kind of like reaffirming his will, like, kind of like battle mode.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to say to you, right? Now that we know that swords are somewhat sentient beings, right? When Zoro went to go test Shisui, it was expected that if the sword didn't think much of him, it would have cut his arm off, right? But instead it didn't, and he ended up earning it and wielding it and bending it to its will, right? And then it furthered that willpower by defeating Ryuma, who was the previous user, right? that in itself says something about what I'm saying right now. Is that if Shisui chose not to cut Zoro, that Enma itself can do things on its own against Zoro's will as well. You get what I'm saying? Like, the fact that Shisui was like, yo, I'm not going to cut you. I'm going to allow you to will me. And then you're going to bend me to your will. It's like the sword is saying, I accept you. Enma, like you said, isn't accepting Zoro right now because he's not living up to its standards. What I'm saying to you is that since Enma kind of has like a mind of its own, it's the reason why Zoro probably was able to cut Kaido. That's my whole point. It's like, that's the reason why Zoro knocking out people, just pouring his haki into a sword, and he doesn't really know why it's happening around him. It's like Enma's directly guiding him into accepting Enma.
See, my only counter to this, right, is if he just used Enma, it would be more examples to what you're saying, right? So what I'm trying to say is he went 3 sword style, Ashura, right? So you believe that all that only Enma is the one that... But we don't know that.
I believe... No, that's, again, is my opinion. But I believe Enma was the only sword to cut him.
See, I don't believe
didn't get that. When I read it, I didn't get that.
Yeah, I think it was.
But this is another point I want to bring up too, and it's a very quick point. Zoro's proving something about Garp that we've all suspected that Garp already has, and I think is if you truly pour all of your haki into like your swords, and Zoro right now is supposed to be the user of the armament haki, right? Like
that's
Sanji,
his specialty.
Yeah, that's his specialty. If he truly doesn't know he has King's Conqueror's haki, and he's just pouring all his armament haki, like, I don't know how to explain this correctly. Let's say, like, I don't know. If he's pouring all his armament haki into what he knows armament haki as, and he's pouring it all into these swords, but they're knocking people out around him, is armament haki, like, right on the edge of Congress hockey? You get what I'm saying or no?
So to
you
me,
get what I'm saying?
I get what you're trying to say.
Can you explain it better? Because I'm not sure how to explain it.
I get what you're trying to say. I feel like anyway, but I disagree with it. I think Zoro is straight up what he thinks is armament hockey is trying to push out or whatever, and it's Conquerors because he's putting all of his hockey out, and he doesn't know how to differentiate between the two.
Yeah,
he's just it's like
the will. They're both will based.
Because I was gonna say if Garp was actually doing the same thing with armament hockey, and it just seems like as if like his armament hockey is so strong that he's really on the tip of just always going into the realm of Conqueror, even though he's not trying to. It's like your armament's so strong that it leads you into there a bit. Like you jump into that placement a bit, even though you don't actually have it. Which makes him, it explains why he's so strong. Do you get what I'm saying now?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah,
we gotta rate the chapter.
I'm not explaining it correctly. That's
we haven't done that the past like 4 weeks.
Did this confirm? Do you think this confirms that King has Congress?
Yes. I don't know if it confirms it, but
that's a good question.
It lends itself to the belief.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if he'll flex it out next chapter or something, but it lends itself to the belief that King has it.
I think it does as well. Like because he recognized it immediately.
And it wasn't like he had the little exclamation point bubble when they got knocked out, but anybody would have that. And then he just went, I see. So you intend to become or you have kingly ambitions as well. I like that translation better.
But you know what it is? It's sort of the same thing Kaido said about Luffy. It's like you have kingly ambitions as well, or it's like I don't need, I don't need too many conquerors. It's like they both had the same attitude towards finding out these, separate people have king's disposition.
Yeah. See, they changed the translation here, so it says, "So you intend to be a king then," right? The other one, me and I liked it better because, so you too
have kingly
ambitions. Usually, when someone kind of mentions, "Oh, you too," they kind of show when they use that phrase, they have it themselves.
Yeah, it's so crazy that words can just change up so little.
Yeah. So pretty much, to me, I think he has it. Like, hopefully he has it. It makes sense.
His name is King, man. You gotta have it. Like, what are you talking about? You gotta have it.
You know what it is too? I love that he just looks at Zoro and he's like, I see.
Yeah, I know.
It's like you're still nothing.
I wonder how many conquerors hockey.
To me, this also shows that Mihawk also might be
I feel like this is if you want to talk about confirmation, I feel like this is confirmation.
Yeah,
Okay.
like I know we got 4 minutes left, but it's like if you really look at it, if Zoro's goal is to be the strongest swordsman in the world, right hand to the Pirate King, it speaks leagues about Rayleigh and how strong he must have been. And it speaks about Mihawk because that's the ultimate goal that Zoro has to pass in order to be what he wants to be.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, like Shanks probably isn't way stronger than Shanks. Shanks is probably much closer than we think to the Yonko itself. So you remember we were like, yo, what would the war...
You mean Mihawk?
Yeah, Mihawk, my bad. Yeah, man. Like if the warlords jumped like Kaido, it still comes down to like, can Mihawk beat Kaido? And I think that he'd get pretty damn close. Because I'm not gonna sit here and think that Mihawk can't cut Kaido now. Like we have to assume that he can cut Kaido.
It just hit me now. I don't know why I didn't use this before, but going to that also that whole thing about Emma. Oh yeah, no, I'm tripping. He didn't have that blade. Never mind. Ryuma's blade.
Oh, Shisui?
Yeah.
What about it?
No, because I was just bringing up like, because to me personally, I believe Ryuma was stronger than Odin. Right?
That's a hot take.
I believe he was. Because also too,
I also believe
as
that.
much because this don't you guys find this interesting?
It's called the Sword God, bro.
Yo, and also too, I find this interesting is that even though we see how much Odin was pouring out all the time since 19 into his blade,
Still wasn't blackened.
he still didn't blacken his blade, but Ryuma did, and who was also probably a king position user, and called the Sword God. You know, who kind of founded Wano.
That is such a good point.
Yo,
You actually just convinced
there's
me.
only out of all the people in the show, there's only 2 people that blacken their blades: Mihawk and Ryuma. The only people in the entire
we
show.
know about.
The only black blades we know
Probably
about
several
is Ryuma
people.
and
Damn.
Mihawk.
That was such a good point. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, nah. Like you actually convinced me. Yeah, my mind just blew.
Yeah, so
Because
we,
now I'm thinking like, yo, do we place him at Mihawk's level, or do we would have to, like, based on just evidence, we would have to put him at like, if like Mihawk's a 94, right? He would probably be what Ryuma would probably be like a. Like he's not even like Mihawk is not even being called the Sword God.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I mean, he's called the Sword God in Wano.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
It's not a world
as you can
renowned
see,
title.
like they're calling everybody gods in One Piece already. So it's like I would place him at a 93, like just based on that.
Or
Ryuma, yeah, I would have to. I would have to put him 1 point under Shanks. I mean, not Shanks, under Mihawk. Oh man,
I'd say they're probably.
I gotta update the list.
Yo.
Because by the end of it, Zoro's supposed to be the one, like the best swordsman ever. That means he has to surpass Ryuma as well.
Yeah.
And if he's fighting Mihawk at the end of his journey, that means that Mihawk should be like. I don't want Zoro's status to be like
Zoro
circumstantial because Ryuma doesn't exist anymore.
At the end of the
You know what I
series,
mean?
Zoro should be able to compete with Whitebeard, but he's 1 point lower, so he'd lose. And I think that he would be a 96 overall if Whitebeard's a 97. And then Roger and Garp are a 98, and then Rox is 100. But Luffy will be 101.
Why aren't they all hundreds though? That's what I don't understand.
There can only be one 100.
No,
Yeah,
this should be Rox,
chill
Gold
out.
Roger, Whitebeard,
Yo,
Garp, and Sengoku, all hundreds. And
Sengoku.
Im, all
we'll have to go over the
Yeah.
power rankings later.
Dude, Sengoku?
In regards to the chapter itself,
We'll go over it one day.
I just really like the ending of the chapter where Zoro refocused into flexing and getting that Conqueror's Hockey boost, and he refocused to remembering the goal is Pirate King for Luffy and World's Strongest Swordsman for me and Kuina. Like him having that, I got to keep my promise to my captain and my either oldest friend or best friend. It was funny. There's some stuff on Twitter saying like he was talking about his promise to Sanji about killing him. I cracked up when I saw that. He was talking about Kuina, y'all. And he's not just talking about Luffy. He's talking about Luffy and Kuina.
Yeah, I had to tell
People were not getting that.
And
Why
also
not getting
realizing that he is a Conqueror user.
Yeah.
He is a king. So
Maybe.
No, he recognized that.
Maybe. All right,
that's
yo,
right.
So real quick before we go, what's the rating of the chapter for you?
Oh, this was pretty dope.
Because we got to be out.
I'm gonna give it a 9.
10.
I'm going to give it a 9.5.
10. Zero
All right.
flashbacks. You kidding me? Kuina showed up.
All right. I don't care.
Nah, it's good to
Kalina.
see her.
Stairs Coon wasn't here.
Have you noticed that Queen has showed up?
All right, we gotta go. We gotta
What's
go.
the siege? The
We
siege.
gotta
Oh,
go.
the cover
That's the
page.
siege on
The
the
cover
cover.
page.
We
Yeah,
gotta go. We gotta
Yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah.
All right. Anyway, thank you everybody. Don't forget to like, follow, share, subscribe illegally if you want, or do whatever. We appreciate you being here.
Obey the
This is
law,
that
y'all.
One Piece.